There, maybe the little text panel. And the real magic can begin. Well, this is pretty magical, but it even gets more magical if you can believe that.
I'm Collin Jewell. I'm exhibit intern.
And I'm Stephen Eichner. I work on exhibitions, installations, and visitor services.
And we are putting up some text, vinyl.
It's one way of applying a large amount of letters directly to the wall without either painting or without having to use a separate thing like a piece of foam or a separate text panel. It keeps it flat, flush, and it allows you to use the text panels for things where you want a different look. So this is meant to be visible, but not make an artistic statement. Vinyl text is actually a sort of a sandwich. It's got 3 levels. It's got a backing sheet, which is kind of like wax paper, and on top of that are put the letters themselves, which have a stickum on the back that can peel off because the back one has like wax paper. And then a top sheet, which is just the thing that will hold the letters once you remove the backing sheet, so that you can peel it off and stick them on without having to go one letter at a time. Which again may be relaxing for some people or more of a purgatory for others. One of the funny things is this makes the application much faster, but it makes the removal much more difficult. And I'm one of those people who doesn't mind removing the letters afterwards. And if you are not planning on necessarily having to repaint the entire wall, you do it a letter at a time. You remove it a letter at a time. And I actually used to do it barehanded. So you have to get used to little letters stabbing one of your fingernails, which isn't great. But you do have to take it off a letter at a time. If you're going to redo a surface, you can actually use a scraper and take it off very, very quickly. Here's the fun in that. So you get the wax paper off the very back. So the key here is you want the letters to stick to the sticky surface level and come off of the backing. So if you're ever thinking, how do you train to do this professionally? Watching paint dry is one way to start. And part of the way to stay focused enough and calm enough to do it slowly is to have a sufficient confidence in your own infallibility that you want to make sure it isn't betrayed.
Got the back layer off now.
And because the top is level and still appears well adhered, we lower it down. And then you smoothing it or downward and outward so that you don't have any wrinkles or bubbles and kind of reinforce, self-reinforcing. And using a cotton glove is good for this kind of thing because it's low friction, so you can actually feel things without slowly losing the feeling in your hand, which is an added benefit. But it also, because it is low friction, you can apply pressure and then you won't tug it off to the side, but this translates straight back to the piece. And you're probably thinking, oh, it's got to get harder than this. Well, because nothing has had to be bleaked out, that's how you know it's still the easy part. And then you use you start peeling off the stick-on layer that is holding the letters fast in place. And you can use a much sharper angle because it starts getting the letters, it will release the letters a little more freely. You'll not want to sort of gently lift up with it. The letters will have to make up their mind. They're either going to stay on the wall or they're going to come up with the paper. If you use a steep angle, they usually make up their mind to stay on the wall, except for these very first ones. And if you have a much finer font, it becomes slightly more difficult because there's less heft to the letter to stick. And if you're thinking, I'm just trying to make excuses, well, that's the key. You make them beforehand, not afterwards, and then it usually is received much better. And yes, we are getting paid by the hour, but no, we really can't do it any faster than this. And there you go. And while that took just slightly longer than it took Lindbergh to fly solo across the Atlantic, we would argue this is a far more significant accomplishment.